fingers.
Look at
Yeah. Hi. We're going to dive right in. I'm Chris Bush. We're at New England Conservatory. This is our NEC Live Learn program, live stream that we've started just a few weeks ago, and it's going to be a weekly thing, and then we'll shift over to NEC's flagships. Basically, I have to make it look prettier. But enough of that. At the moment, we have Erin Hogan in my office. It would be nice to say in studio, but I guess we've turned it into the studio. In my office, I have cornered her and asked her to come here. So we're just going to dive right on into this. There we go. Hi, Erin. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
We get to talk about music rather than all the things that a chair has to do. Erin is our chair of contemporary musical arts at NEC's Expanded Ed Division. You're new. Welcome to that as well.
Yay.
Yeah. I think, as it usually is, I think the best way to get to know our people, our musicians, is to just let them play, let them sing. So, Erin, let it rip. Those of you who are watching in the chat, if there are human beings or barnyard animals out there, please feel free to drop things in the chat. We'd love to hear what you have to say. So, Erin, what are you gonna sing?
I'm going to sing a folk song called Black Waterside, and this originates in Ireland, made its way over to England. We'll talk more about it. Yeah.
don't hear like the human voice like that often
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
No, it's a really special tradition. Yeah.
I feel like, and I mean this in the best possible way, so I have no idea what her reputation is like anymore.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that makes me think of Judy Collins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to play. I did 2 concerts with her of Wildflowers. We did the whole.
Ah, yes, I love that.
We did the whole albums and the whole album, once for PBS and once just for an audience in Town Hall in New York. And it was like, you know, she's not as young as she was.
Yeah.
But damn if she can't still sing.
Yeah.
Stunningly beautiful.
Yes.
I was expecting you get clarinet players her age, you don't really want to hear them.
Yeah.
But it's just so beautiful and it's so pure, and that's what I hear. That's why I say that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, Judy Collins is one of my inspirations among so many singers.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I love her, like her and Joan Baez and Sandy Denny, all these people.
So are you then like a throwback?
Yeah, I mean, like I think a lot of folk music, and folk music is very old music, and so is classical music. Like I was a trained classical singer, and I think what's really cool, and I also studied jazz a bit, and I think what's similar among all of them is that you're just trying to do the tradition justice. While there's I think there's a lot of creative liberty in classical music, but you really have to adhere to the historical performance,
or somebody yells at you.
Yeah, or somebody yells at you. It's a beautiful thing, and I think in traditions like folk music and in jazz music, it's really important to learn the tradition and then to deviate on that.
Do you think it's like related to? There was a class here. You'll learn. Mid-sentence, I switched.
So no, let's talk.
20 years ago, there was a like finding your musical voice.
Yeah.
I would say that was not a class for classical players.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I think Rand may have taught it. Rand Blake.
I think they still have a class. It's called Developing Personal Style.
Okay, that sounds like the
sounds like a
way.
similar thing. I didn't take it though, so I'm hopefully like.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna make you go all the way back.
Yeah, no, of course.
Because I don't know you that well.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Last week I had Guy Fishman in, who historically informed performance.
Yeah.
And
that's so good.
Well, I'm grilling him about it, and it turns out, no, it's really very much about the expressivity and about communicating. And when you go back that far, there aren't many rules written down.
Yeah, right.
With what you're doing, there may be rules, maybe not written down.
Yeah.
And then you can break the rules once you know the rules, something like
this. Yeah.
But you told me, with Guy, I knew him for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We used to play concerts together 20 years ago, haven't talked that much. You I just met recently. So you told me you're a trained singer. I mean, obviously, you really know how to use your voice.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start singing? Like,
I started singing when I was maybe 4 or 5, in church.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what kind of church though?
It was Catholic church.
Okay.
Just like your run-of-the-mill, very awesome Midwestern Catholic church.
I will tell you, I have no idea what a Midwestern Catholic church is
if
like.
If anyone knows Gather Hymnal, anyone tuning in, the Gather Hymnal, that is the kind of music. That was like Marty Hogan, sort of like other composers. I don't know like what the standing is on certain Catholic composers now, but it's like very like folk inspired.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Everyone sings along, sort of like in the Rise Up and Sing tradition.
So when you said like run-of-the-mill Catholic church, I was thinking like, okay, so you've got Mass, you've got, maybe not Palestrina, maybe Haydn, you've got, but you're talking about like post Vatican II. They're like, we got to speak to the people.
Yes, that's like totally like everyone sings the hymns and
everything nothing in Latin. Anything in Latin?
No, hardly anything in Latin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, this.
We'll get to the Latin part of my life later. Yeah.
All right, you spoke Latin for only a year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm used to when people say I grew up in the church or I grew up singing in the church.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the backwoods of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Southern Baptist. Maybe if you have and Southern Baptist, pretty lily white churches, but if you go to the black churches, and it's a much more exciting, less folk, very much plugged in often.
Yeah,
There's
fun.
a lot of electricity.
Like
involved.
nice. Yeah.
So that was you were getting kind of this folky music, but
Sort of like it's folky music, folky sounding Catholic hymns.
okay. I have still no idea what this. Do you know any?
There's
I know
like
that's
there's a little they used to do like a Celtic Alleluia.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny, but they have like praise and honor to you, Lord Jesus. Praise and honor to you.
It's like it has a Scottish
And then
snap.
praise and honor to you, Lord Jesus. Praise. Or like, will you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to you.
Yeah.
Sort of like very stepwise motion, very catchy.
If you go to any Midwest Catholic church, does everybody know these tunes?
I feel like if you went to the Catholic churches sort of like in my area of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, I can't speak for any other Catholic churches.
Yeah.
Because then I started going to Episcopal church when I moved to Boston.
Okay.
And also like lightly in Chicago. I went to a Catholic university, so in Chicago.
Which one?
Which is DePaul University.
Okay.
Shout out to DePaul School of Music.
Yep. Very good. I was there for to work with some kids in December.
Oh, it's an amazing place.
It's really.
Did
really
you
nice.
you went to the new School of Music, the Holt Schneider Performance Center?
I don't know.
The Holt Schneider's Performance Center is amazing.
I literally went where the taxi took me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love DePaul University, and it was a Catholic university, so I would go to student mass sometimes, and they would sing, some of the same hymns.
Okay. So okay, so you grew up singing that.
Yeah.
Even though I hear the Scottish snap, bum ba-dum, beam, bum ba-dum in there.
Yeah. So a lot of that music is like based on like folk traditions. There's even one like Irish folk song that was like adapted for like the Catholic hymnal.
Just change the words.
I forget. Yeah, like they yeah, it'll come to me maybe like after this conversation. But
well, so you grew up having that every Sunday.
Every single Sunday until I was 18. I cancered this was like music was the way that I had engaged also with my faith. And I don't think I'm like of any faith anymore. We can get into that another time. But
you kept the music. That's
the music in the spirit world, I think, were like the most. That's where the intersection of my music making was.
I think that's been the case for a few hundred years at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hildegard of Bingen and. So I grew up very much in that tradition, and then I got really involved in like the school choirs and the church choirs.
And was it like a different type of singing, like using your voice differently?
Yeah, a different type of singing, and I was in the musicals. Like at the first musical I was in The Sound of Music, Jiangnan Middle School, and a big part of my life was just having a neighbor that was a musical person.
I see.
So I would go over to her house, and her sons would go over to our house and play with my brothers. I'm a triplet, so I would go and get like special fun musical girl time with our neighbor, Anita, and she was like an incredible concert pianist, like got her master's at IU, but then like and also she's from India, so she like got herself here, she's amazing and
formidable person.
Yeah, just an incredible person, and she was my music teacher. I didn't even know I was being taught music. It was like totally unassuming.
What year-ish?
I was like 6, 7, up until like middle of middle school. She had moved to Texas.
And so when you're like taking these, not secretive, but these
just totally unassuming.
Music lessons.
Yeah.
What kind of music were you singing?
We were singing like Moon River was the first song I learned with her, and there's like an early video of me singing this somewhere on the web.
Really?
Yeah, somewhere on like Facebook or something, and you can hear in my voice her voice. So I was like learning to sing through her voice, and so you can hear me like use some of her vowel tendencies, and so I would sound, and so I got really good at like listening. I never actually learned right away how to learn music until I started learning trumpet in my public school music program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like in middle school, high school?
In middle school, in like 5th grade, that's when I started to learn how to read music, and then I took piano lessons, but before that I was with Anita, and I would just like figure things out by ear. Like I would listen and press the keys and figure out the relationship between the keys. Like I could do that for hours.
Well, this sounds like you had a exploratory.
Very exploratory. I call it very Montessori. Like
okay.
very try and try again.
That's lovely.
Relationship with music. So
well, I mean, at some point you decided, all right, I'm going to make my life in music.
I knew
like
that from a very young age.
How do you I know how I did that in North Carolina, and it involved like a
very musical place, North Carolina.
Yeah. Well, how did you do that? How did you get from Wisconsin to like, well, now you're in Boston.
Not Boston. Yeah.
Singing beautifully, but what's the in between? Like you're in middle school, you go to a beautiful high school, like a high school that encouraged your music.
No, yeah, it was like a small music program, and we had like a music booster. So the music booster club.
That helped financially.
Yeah, helped me go to like honor choir, and helped me go to New York City and sing at Carnegie Hall in the choir. So a lot of my musical training was just in choral music and band.
Was it one of those choirs where you go to Carnegie, and when you get there, there's an orchestra in front of you, and you're part of several choirs, or were you?
Yeah, it was just like one giant choir led by an amazing teacher named F. Ely.
And just choir, no orchestra?
No orchestra.
Okay.
Oh, they had other orchestra. Like they had like the choir, and then they had the orchestra that would go on after you. It was like I think it was like international. I forget what it's called. Performance series. I think you probably know.
When I was in New York, there were 2 big ones.
Yeah. Honors performance series. That's what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they used to hire. I would sub in occasionally on like second clarinet. But a couple of friends of mine, Boris was the guy who was like always there.
Yeah.
And the orchestra they were pros.
Yeah.
And they would basically sit on stage all day for like 3 days, and choirs would just be cycling in and out. And they would be doing like Rudder.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, we did so much cool stuff. And then Wisconsin has an amazing music program called the Wisconsin School Music Association.
Okay.
And when I was in school, fortunately, it was totally incredible. I think it's still incredible, but things have changed, in the world since I've been back in Wisconsin, so I'm not sure. But they had this music convention that I would go to, and I would meet music teachers and meet like music teachers at universities, and so it was like I had this other like November of every school year, like from middle school to high school. I was like so stoked, like, and they would have a summer camp to prepare all the kids for like the fall. And so you would go to summer camp and learn all the music with the director, and then in like October, November, you would go to Madison and perform on the stage at University of Wisconsin-Madison in their performance center with like 50 other high schoolers from around the state. And that was like the most formative part, along with, being in school musicals, taking voice lessons. I didn't actually start taking formal voice lessons until like the latter half of my high school career.
Okay, so you take, this sounds like an amazing, like, supportive
Wisconsin. So supportive, so sweet, yeah.
Oh, it's not the case everywhere.
It's not. Lovely. I was very blessed, and I like, had amazing teachers, and a lot of them studied at Lawrence University in Wisconsin.
So and very good school.
Yes, it's a very great school, and so I had that, like, one of my first, like, real, like, legit classical voice teachers. Both her parents were on the faculty at Lawrence, And so I was like opened up to this whole other world at Lawrence, and they had like a music festival that they started in the summers, the Miles of Music Fest. That they have this like whole thing. It's like music is a birthright, and it was like very it was like super cool. Like Layla and Brian Pirtle, very very inspiring. And then I decided I need to go to Chicago for whatever reason and study music there.
It's often the case, as long as I've been in educating musicians, that like, those of us that were in out in the boonies, and that's where I was, find their way to a city where there's like a quorum or a density of people who actually care about music.
There's so much cool stuff going on in Chicago.
I hear one of our wonderful people here in EE, Shayla, is from Chicago.
Yeah.
And was a violinist there.
It's a great city.
So she kind of clued me in while I was there the first time in the last year. It seems wonderful, and it seems like I missed out on like going to all the clubs to hear live music.
They have so many. I think and Boston has so many great small venues, and I work at one called Club Passim, which is a legendary folk music venue. But I think that Chicago has some of the best small venues.
Okay.
And especially supportive of jazz. Jazz is very alive.
Yeah. Jazz and blues still?
And blues, yeah. The Kingston Mines is like right down the street. I never actually got to go there because, the pandemic sort of was at the tail ends of my degree. So
I see.
That was actually a huge part of my musical development, the pandemic.
How so?
It didn't halt me at all. Like, I felt that actually going home, I lived at home for a while, and I had all this, my first 2.5 years of college in person, and I had all this information, and so I think it was really helpful to pause and kind of like almost have to confront everything that I've ever learned. It had me digest the information, and then actually, what was I interested in? I was nearing the end of my degree. I was like, what am I going to do?
Nearing the end of your degree in classical voice.
In classical voice performance. And
which is not what you're just saying.
It's not what I just saying. I mean, elements of that are informed by my time.
I mean, it's obviously you have a serious technique.
Yeah, and so I think that during that time I was like, why do I love music? What do I want to do with music? And also, what music makes me feel most alive? I had studied also at that time jazz. I was in the jazz combo programs.
Mm-hmm.
I was really into that. So it made things like really confusing because I was like, what path do I go down? Do I go down, like I love this improvising, and I love that we're making up arrangements together. This is like so fun. I love singing classical music. I love singing early music, especially like Baroque music.
I can get that. You have like the purity of tone that I. Wow.
Yes, look at us.
Oh wow.
So I love early music, Baroque music, choral music.
Are you still singing?
I am still singing classically. Yeah, I still sing classically. I sing. I was at Church of the Advent singing in their choirs, and that was like Renaissance Polyphony, a different mass every Sunday.
Oh yeah, no, they're famous for this.
Yeah, so I was doing that when I moved here to study my master's.
In classical voice?
In classical voice.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was there for 2 years of my master's and 1 year outside of my master's program. Took a little break from church singing, and now I'm at Trinity Church in Copley Square.
So it's not so much that you strayed from the path and you've been...
I just was like, guys, forget this.
You've
like,
made your deal on the crossroads or anything.
Yeah.
You seem to be just kind of not limiting.
Yes. And one of the most important figures in that, is Susie Collier, one of my teachers, mentors.
Related to Jacob Collier.
Yes.
I believe you mentioned, yes.
And we were talking, and I was like in the middle of my master's program, and I was like, I had done, as a brief departure, I had done Silk Road Global Musician Workshop at NEC, which is how I found out about contemporary musical arts, and I also did that for 3 years. And I had loved that so much, and I was like, this is it. Like, I was like, because there's classical musicians, there's like people from all over the world. You're not playing one specific type of music. You're having deep conversations about the world, about life, about music and life. It was like seriously the best time ever. Meet Mike Block, enter Mike Block, Yo-Yo Ma, like all these people that are really skilled classical musicians.
But who aren't limiting themselves.
But who aren't limiting themselves.
Yeah.
And then so Susie was like, why do you feel like you have to quit? Like, why can't you just do it all? And she was asking that. I was like, so true. It was just like we didn't actually talk anymore after she said that. I was like, we had another conversation after that.
Yeah.
But I was like, so true. Actually, I'm going to think about that.
You're gonna go home and drink about it.
I'm going to I'm going to go home and like, I think I maybe like cried my eyes out after that.
Well,
I was like, not a bad cry, but it was like a release, sort of like, oh, I don't have to be bound.
I have had conversations.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know this. I went here. I went to NEC for my bachelor's and my master's.
Yeah. Wow.
20 years ago.
It's like welcome home.
And
oh my
then-
gosh.
exactly. And then I went off to go play clarinet in places, and I've been very lucky to go around the world and play in a bunch of different countries and play lots of different kinds of classical music.
Yeah.
And the most fun, I guess I'm immortalizing this.
Yeah.
But I have said the most fun and the most fulfilled that I've been in the act of performance usually had very little to do with what I was playing.
Right.
It had, I remember playing some Brahms quintet with dear friends of mine, like, and
Yeah.
that was it. It was playing with friends of mine. I remember the Judy Collins, getting
Yeah.
to play with her twice at Town
Total.
Hall. Amazing.
Yeah.
And shocking, it would have been shocking to 22-year-old Chris playing, I don't know, many dozens of shows of Phantom of the Opera on Broadway.
Right. Yeah. That's.
And the music is fine,
Yeah.
but the audience,
It's like the people you play with, the people you play for.
they loved it.
Yeah.
They were like, we flew here from Japan to see Phantom of the Opera
Yeah.
before it closed. And all I could think of is like, well, I better play my best for this human being.
Yeah.
And those were the most fulfilling, mostly because of the other people involved.
Right. Like, I think the best piece of advice I was given was from my vocal jazz teacher in undergrad named Tiffany Collar, and she's now at Arizona State.
We're naming all the teachers today.
I'm naming all my teachers. I gotta.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, the most important thing is like what music makes you cry, what
Oh.
music, or who do you want to be around, and who do you want to play with, who do you want to collaborate with, you know, who do you want to be around, what kind of people, what kind of hearts.
So what music makes you cry?
I think, like, I had realized during the pandemic, I was like, you know, I love opera, and some of it does make me cry. But that's I love opera. But a very small amount of it really resonates with me.
As a performer, as a listener, both?
I think as a performer.
Uh-huh.
As a listener, I can be just, like, moved to tears by, like, Ness and Dorma, like, all these, you know, all these, and I have been moved to tears as a performer of opera as well, like singing Emily in Our Town, which is an incredible, you know, by Ned Rorem. But it so much more easily accessible. My sympathetic nature is more easily accessible when I play, when I'm improvising, when I'm playing with like my pals in my band. When I have like a much deeper sort of like emotional connection with the people I'm playing with and the music, like Irish music, spiritual, devotional music.
So Irish music, you brilliant segue.
Yeah, yeah,
You started with Irish music,
yeah.
and I had never heard this tune before you said you wanted to play it. And I
Yeah.
was like, and I, looked it up, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. And then I saw another performance of you, and then other performances of other people, and it's like, maybe this is the time we kind of shift into NEC Live Learn, we're trying to teach.
Yeah.
We're NEC, we have been teaching in our little bubble for many years. In prep alone, 75 years this year.
Yeah.
And NEC as a whole, longer than that, but not so much online. So some of the things that we're doing, we're, if there's anybody watching who would like to ask a question, please put something in the chat. I know there's just so many people and they're all dumbfounded not to chat.
Yeah.
But please ask any questions. We'd love to do whatever we can for you.
Yeah.
But also we want to teach directly through live stream, and then we talked about this clip and put some things on
Right on.
our YouTube pages so people can access the kind of artists and teachers that we have. So Blackwater Side?
Blackwater Side, yeah.
What?
Yeah, Blackwater Side. I guess I was talking about my relationship with Irish music and English music. My grandma is from Cornwall, England. During the pandemic, got really, really into like my heritage, and that's like a Celtic part of England, Cornwall.
Okay.
It's all the way at the southernmost part of the country. It's like
almost see France, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and so, anyways, I wanted to learn more about, and also I'm Irish. I can't really trace the roots. A lot of people from America were like, I'm Irish.
Like Irish, or like I have a lot of what they call Scotch Irish or Scots Irish.
Yeah, like Irish.
Where they went back and forth, and
people
then
had immigrated here. I think we have really deep roots in Limerick.
Okay.
And because of a variety of different reasons, I can't really trace back my family. Yeah. And so I was starting to think, what music does make me cry, what makes me happiest, and so I had landed in a sort of world of Irish music, and in Boston it's a very present music. There's a session every night.
Boston Irish.
Yeah, Boston Irish, like that's, there's so many Irish sessions I was learning when I moved here, after I had participated in a Global Musician Workshop. People were talking about, where to go to play more global music, or what's popular, and so I had landed at a few sessions, and I think people were doing some ballad singing, and I was like, what is that?
What is
that? And a ballad is, there's so many different types of ballad. It's almost, I can't define it, almost.
Is it like saying, what is a song?
What is a song? Yeah. But these are types of songs, and ballads, there's American folk ballads, there's Irish folk ballads, there's English folk ballads. And I feel like I could talk forever about this, but I think in the early pandemic I was listening a lot to popular ballad singers before I had moved to Boston, like Paul Brady, Sandy Denny, Anne Briggs, who we'll talk about in this version. So I was listening to Anne Briggs and was like so struck by this version of Blackwater Side that she was singing. And folk music is a lot like jazz music, and so when I was studying jazz, I was having to just transcribe solos, having to transcribe having to find who wrote the song, and also in my classical training, you have to do a lot of research on the music that you're performing, like art song, and you have to translate the language, and you have to get it exactly how it was, on the page, or like there's a lot of creative liberty in art song as well. So anyways, I took those two skills of like the transcribing skills, the learning by ear skills that I've always had since a very young age, and then also that sort of like deep analytical processing of music, and I used those skills, and that is how I learned how to learn ballads, and I can break down my process. So we can start with listening.
Okay. So step one.
Step one, listen. So if you are wanting to learn folk music, the best thing to do is to go listen. And I and it's like how you would listen to songs on the radio, like you listen and you learn maybe by humming or something like this. But it's a very focused effort, and I'm going to bring you to the recording that I first heard by Anne Briggs, and that is, Chris has like all the videos I sent him. So this is a version by Anne Briggs, and we'll listen to maybe a verse of it. But Anne Briggs is an amazing singer from England, and I learned about Anne Briggs from a great folk singer from Vermont named Sam Amadon. And we'll talk a little bit about Sam's influence on my music. But take it away with this listening
All
with
right.
the first verse.
To press a few buttons
Yeah.
first. They're not hearing that. Give me 1 second. Let's try that again. I think I screwed up. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. Hold on, guys. There was a little glitchy bit. I gotcha. I think this will work.
One morning fell to take the air down by Blackwater side. 'Twas in gazing all around me. 'Twas the Irish lad I spied.
Okay, so that's what
Yes.
you start with?
So you start by listening, and there's so many different versions of the song. So I just wanted to bring you into the world of what I had first heard. And then folk music is great because you can just go down a rabbit hole. I think all music is great because you can go down a rabbit hole. And so I'd be like, where did Anne Briggs get this song from? In folk music, there's a tradition of being like, oh, I got the song from so-and-so, I got the song from so-and-so. And
Is she an American singer? Is she
Anne
Irish?
Briggs is from England,
Okay.
and this song originates in Ireland. But it has, it's like a transcontinental sort of like exchange.
Okay.
So there can be versions of this text, "One morning fair for to take the air down by Blackwater side," and it could be set to completely different music. So I'll take you to the Paddy Tooney version of Blackwater side.
Like this one
And
should-
yeah, this is an Irish singer, and I'll take you to that now, and you can listen to how different it sounds.
Oh, as I roved out one bright summer's morn down by Blackwater side, I be gazing on the flowers that did bloom all around, when a pretty young Irish girl I spied.
wildly
So different, right? So I think there's, and one of my things that I really want to know is like how this turned into that across, the exchange from Ireland to England. And it said like there's lots of archive websites, which is really amazing amazing. And one particularly helpful one that I use a lot, that I'm a frequenter of, is called Mainly Norfolk. And yes, you can see, and it's you have to have a magnifying glass to look at it. But this has literally every single.
Maybe I can be really fancy and
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do. And then I'm gonna move it over.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah. So this has maybe every single recorded version of, and this is like an index of, like you would find in a book, of like every single recorded version of Blackwater Side. So you get to see like, oh, this song was actually found and originated from the first singers. It's like Mary Doran and Patty Doran from Belfast sang Blackwater Side on July 24th, 1952. So this is the first recorded version of Blackwater Side. And so part of the learning process is doing a lot of research. When you're doing a traditional song, you want to know where the song comes from.
Do you just listen to like everyone you can find?
I listen. I'm a nerd, and I listen to every single one that I can find.
I think this is super similar to, classical playing.
Yes, it is so similar.
You're gonna, if you're gonna play, if we're gonna do Shepherd on the Rock.
Yeah, right.
Schubert.
Love Shepherd on the
We're
Rock.
gonna go listen
Yeah.
to Benita Valente. We're gonna go listen to,
Mhm.
I don't know if Elizabeth Schwarzkopf ever
Yeah,
did one.
yeah.
We're gonna go listen to everybody we can to know, like, well,
Exactly.
how good do they sound, but also what's acceptable.
Yeah.
But it seems like what you're learning here is that there's a lot that's acceptable.
There's so many versions of Blackwater Side, and I have listened to nearly all of them. Yeah, you can see it's just like a total scroll, and then they have lyric variations. The structure of the song is a lot different from the Irish singers to the English singers.
How so?
So we've got.
Oh, wait. I'm gonna be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
So step one.
Step one, listen. Step two, look at the words and get a general sense of the form.
Look at the words, get a general sense of the form. Okay.
So if I want to sing the Anne Briggs version, I'm going to look at Anne Briggs's words there.
Okay,
We'll just use this,
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we'll highlight that in blue.
That's here, everybody.
And this is the version I really like. This is the one that really spoke to me. But you might also listen to the Sandy Denny version, who is another vocal inspiration of mine. And those are her words. And maybe they're the same, maybe they're ever so slightly different.
One evening fair.
Yeah, she does One Evening Fair.
And one evening fair, I took the air. But Anne Briggs is one morning fair to take the air.
Yeah, for Take the Air. So I really liked this version for whatever reason. It really spoke more to me. So for, simplicity's sake, I'm going to focus on learning the Anne Briggs version of Blackwater Side. And so you're going to look at the form, and you're going to chunk it out. So right now there's, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They do this easily for you. They chunk out all the verses.
Thanks, mainly Norfolk.info.
Thank you so much. And so you have 5 separate stanzas, and you're going to learn it stanza by stanza.
When you say learn it, not just learning the words.
Yeah, the melody. You're going to start off with the melody.
And is the melody the same in all
Yeah,
of
this
these?
is a strophic song. And so it's just A section, A section, A section all over again.
Okay, I'm going to pretend like my PhD is not in music.
It's okay.
And I'm going to say, what the heck is
What is strophic?
It sounds like something I need like penicillin for.
Yeah, strophic is when the tune of the song that you're hearing repeats over and over again with different words.
So, like in a pop song, you've got the verse chorus. Often the verse has the same music.
Yeah, it's just all verses, no chorus.
That's great.
This is a typical ballad, all verses, no chorus. We could, at another one, get into participatory ballads, which have a chorus. but we're gonna leave it to just this version, which is completely strophic, most simple form of a ballad, verse, verse, verse. And so something that I would do, because I wasn't formally trained in learning folk music, I'm a trained singer, so what I gathered, I'm going to take this in chunks. So I'm going to learn the first verse. And what I mean by learning the first verse is that I'm just starting with the melody. And I'm listening to the Anne Briggs version, so I'm just listening to the first verse over and over again. And I'm getting the general bones, I call it the bones of the melody. And that's without ornamentation, which you hear her doing these little turny things.
Could we hear the bones?
Yeah. One morning fair for to take the air down by Blackwater side.
Okay. So you're learning that verse.
So I'm just kind of mumbling along with the.
That's mumbling. I wish I could mumble so well.
That's like the first 2 lines, and every single verse has 4 lines, so you can chunk it up. Even if like the whole verse seems overwhelming, you can do the first line, you can do the second line.
And you learn that you're memorizing them.
Yeah, I'm memorizing the melody, with the repetitions of the verse.
And so just the melody, you talked about the bones of the melody, without ornamentation, without all the little turns and twists. Are you then trying to copy Anne Briggs' turns and twists, her ornamentation?
I think as close to it as possible. And so something I do to help myself is that I will write the words out. And I don't have my words written out for you. You can see my...
They're written out right here?
Yeah, they're written out here.
Are yours the same?
Yeah. Those are pretty much the same. And so when I would listen again, I would sort of highlight. I would go through with a highlighter and highlight where I hear an ornamentation.
Okay. Do you mind if I'm super
yeah.
pedantic?
Yeah, please.
So if you're doing...
We can just start with the first verse.
Great. So what are the bones of the first
so
verse?
It's one morning fair for to take the air.
Okay. And then so then you're like, where are the
turns?
Where
are those ornaments that Anne Briggs is doing? And this is something very similar to my jazz training. Like when you would transcribe someone's version of Never Will I Marry, and you're transcribing the solos, and you're like, okay, where do they do the sort of bend in the sound?
Right.
Or, this is a very similar thing. And so by doing this, by learning that, you're learning a language.
The language of
ornamentation.
I see. So would you mind doing it once without and then once with?
So first, this is the bones of Blackwater Side, verse 1, line 1. One morning fair for to take the air. And
then with ornamentation.
With ornamentation. One morning fair for to take the air.
Little shakes or like a mordant or something like that.
And the way that you can learn this, and you're like, well, that's so fast, it's going by so fast, I don't even know if my voice knows how to do that. Something that's really cool about YouTube is that you can slow down the audio. So I'm actually going to have Chris pull back to the Anne Briggs version of Blackwater Side.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you back it up in the settings gear.
I see.
So you're seeing Chris do this. It says playback speed.
Okay.
And you're going to select, you're going to just go way down on the bar. Yeah, just maybe down to...
0.25?
0.5. Yeah, that's great.
40?
Yeah, that's
okay. So 40% speed.
You're going to get this. Yeah, slow as possible.
Oh, you
that's
want to
great.
go slower?
That's great.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear what that sounds like. I'm going to turn our... that's really enlightening.
Yeah. So I do this so I can learn how to move my voice. So I can hear that slowly how the voice is moving. Because when you can't see it, I at least want to know what direction they're going, right?
This is something, this kind of thing, the slowing down was something my teacher made me do for some of the really fast orchestra excerpts, because he would say, oh no, you're a little slow here, a little fast here, and I was like, I don't hear the difference. And then he would make me record myself, play it back at half speed, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so uneven. And
right.
So it kind of, when I would force my students to do this, I would talk about increasing the resolution of your hearing.
Right.
So that sounds like what you're doing.
That's exactly what I do, and that's exactly what I did when I was studying Handel, when I was doing Handel arias and Bach arias, like to make sure that all of my runs were even. And so a lot of the stuff that I had learned as a classical singer, immediately I could transfer to the practice and the tradition of folk music. And because I wasn't raised in this tradition, I doing my best to have reverence for this tradition. And so part of that is really taking the time to listen to all the people that came before you, which is the same thing that we do in classical music, right?
Yeah.
Which is the same thing that we do in jazz music. Yeah. So I go from there.
You do every line?
Yeah, I do like every line, or until like, I mean, if you wanted to do every line, you could. But I generally try to just do the first couple verses this way, unless it's a super, like, I'm working on a ballad right now called Plains of Waterloo, and that's a very challenging, like, 13 verse, or something like that. It's, like, very long. It's probably not for 13 verses, but I want to be able to be as exact as possible.
When it's strophic, and you're doing, like, this specific song, which strophic, again, the music repeats every time. Are you doing the same ornaments every time?
No.
Because the lyrics change.
The lyrics change, right.
Yeah.
So, all through the first part of the night, I feel like, we lay in sport and play, or sport and play.
So it depends, and
Depends on what I'm feeling, really.
what you're feeling in the moment.
Yeah.
So there's I guess like klezmer almost. There's the tune, and then there's like various ways you can change, you can ornament, and in the moment you'll decide which way you want to do.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same deal with this song, and I really think like when I'm thinking about arranging a folk song, and so this, I think we've got like we've got this like very simple ostinato when we're listening to the Anne Briggs version. Those are like sort of the bare bones of what she's singing over. And when I'm thinking of arranging it for myself, I tend to gravitate towards something that feels very spacious. And for me, as like I call myself a fake guitarist because I taught myself guitar, so I'm not going to pretend to teach you guitar right now. But I use the dad-gad tuning, and very much like someone who's an amazing, I think, vocal. I aspire to be like Joni Mitchell, or someone that I really take their art very seriously and their guitar playing very seriously. She's very experimental, and so I try to approach that, like my guitar playing, in a similar way. So I press down, and that feels good. Oh, that's nice. So I was kind of messing around with certain figures, and we know that folk music is very modal. And so this modal, what are modes, right?
You can already hear it. You can hear Chris going,
what
jargon,
are modes?
Jargon.
And I wish that I could explain every single mode to you right now, but we'd run out of time.
Can we do a dumb version of what a mode is?
A mode is a certain scale, and they have Like it's like we've got a major mode would be Ionian, right? It's like do re mi fa sol la ti do.
Everybody knows do a deer.
Yeah, do a deer, a female deer.
Right. So it's the scale. Those are the notes that you choose in that mode.
Yeah, and Dorian is the next mode, which is sort of what Blackwater Side and a lot of folk music hovers around Dorian and Mixolydian. We'll get to Mixolydian in a second. So
And
Dorian.
Dorian is a different scale.
It's do re mi fa sol la te do.
Does not sound happy and jaunty like major.
Yeah.
So each mode is basically
Has a different
different
scale degrees
Okay.
are flatted or sharped, which just means raised by a half step
I
and
love
by raised or lowered by a
Yeah.
half step, and it's you might hear the half steps called microtones. You might hear people call microtones. And those are the same things like do, di, re, re.
right.
So it's just like the smallest bit. And now we've got do, re as a whole step.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
because I need my order.
Yeah.
Step one.
Let's get in order.
Step one.
Step one, listen.
Listen.
Step two,
What was it? Studying the form.
study the form.
Okay.
Know what the form is. For this particular song, it's a strophic verse. Everything is the same. Like all the melody is the same throughout all the different verses.
And then step three.
Step three is, I think we talked about
You picked a version.
picking a
and you're-
version. Yeah.
you're
So
really
you're really
digging in?
focusing in on that and like knowing the language.
Right. I'm sorry. Can I get the simple version of step three just for later editing?
Yeah. So the simple version of step three would be listening to a version and transcribing or copying down and listening very intently to the version that you choose. So in this case, it's the Anne Briggs Blackwater Side. And you do this because you're learning the style. So you would listen to Bach. You wouldn't play Bach like you were playing Puccini, right?
Right.
That's
you
a very
you just wouldn't get hired.
yeah. It's just it's a very specific style. So you're learning the style of Anne Briggs' singing.
So now it seems like we've moved into step four, where you're creating your own version.
Yeah, and then once you learn that version and you have like a ground to stand on, and you're like, oh, I can sing this, and this feels comfortable, then you can deviate. And sometimes that takes a really long time. Like I've been playing this song since maybe the fall, or I've been playing around with an arrangement of the song since the fall of 2024. And so I'm a person that really likes to savor and take time and not rush things. And I collaborated also with another faculty member who is a new faculty member, Adam Hendy, who's an amazing Celtic guitarist. And I took sort of the bones of my harmonic ideas and I'm playing around. That's the Dorian scale. And so I'm playing around with that. And with the water of the song, Blackwater Side, I wanted something to feel really water-like. And so I didn't quite resonate with Anne Briggs' arrangement. It was less, or it resonated very deeply with me. But I wanted something more water-like, and so this sort of sounded like water to me.
I was just looking up. I was like, I got this sound in my head just from what you were doing, and I couldn't get it out of my head, so I had to look it up. And it was John Hartford.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah.
And so I immediately get on the phone like a kid. But
Right. No, that's part of the research, right? You're doing a lot of research. and then you're coming up with something that's your own. So for me, it was something with that sound.
This is getting you in that water area.
Yeah, I felt this was very fluid, so. And I have like no order to what I'm playing. It's just as long as it feels. So I probably won't even begin to boil down the arrangement because it comes from a place of like I actually can't explain it. I wish I could, and that's like not the answer probably anyone wants. Maybe you can ask some questions to help me explain.
Well, it seems
Yeah.
like back in the day
Yeah.
when your department was founded, it was
Yeah.
called the
Third stream.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Gunther Schuler started the department, although
Yeah.
he was president at the time, right?
Right.
And,
Right.
The only reason I like to talk about Gunther Schuler is it's an easy way for me to suddenly start talking about my dissertation because
Yes.
I wrote it on Gunther.
Wow, that's amazing! Incredible.
And
Yeah.
but not about any of his third stream stuff.
Oh yeah, but he's prolific in
yeah.
multiple areas.
Hundreds of classical works.
Yeah.
But this idea of the overlap, or classical and jazz being two streams, and the third stream is like what happens.
What happens between
Exactly.
what's this third space? Yeah.
And at the time, there were people who complained about like you're ruining classical music, you're ruining jazz, or like I think about a lot of Christian rock is it's neither good religious music nor good rock, and it's
Yeah,
like,
it's just like
Yeah, it's just bad
it's sort
both.
of falling flat. Yeah.
But since then, and before Gunther died, he talked about and wrote about just like, what do you think all of this crossover music is? It's just there aren't three strings. There are any number of strings,
Yeah.
and it's how they combine that
Yeah.
really gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, to come back from my rant, it seems like you have a structure and you know where you need to land, like
Yeah.
a good jazz musician.
Yeah. Right.
And you know generally what's going on, even with some counterpoint, that I'm hearing similar counterpoint. And how you get there is not important. It's that you hit those spots. And well, it's important, but how you get there might be different each time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're gonna land
Somewhere.
in the
yeah.
same to get to
Yeah.
start the verse.
Yeah. Right.
Does that help? Is
Yeah.
that am I off the pace?
Yeah. Yeah. To start, like you have to be in the right. One morning fair. 1, 2, 3. So there is a clear structure
Yeah.
in the way that I'm moving.
It's a
Yeah.
very different approach. We had a guitarist, Erin Hogan, who is also a very flexible musician in terms of not just playing classical music, but also plays a lot
Everything,
of
yeah.
flamenco.
Yeah.
And has a bunch of albums that have rock tunes on them but transcribed.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching you guys play physically. It's very different,
Yeah.
but orally, it's really all about the sound and how you're getting from here to here.
Yeah. Point A to point B.
Yeah, and it's lovely to hear the instrument sound like wildly different but have the same
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah, and something that I really I feel is important, especially with verse songs, and there's not a lot of deviation in Anne Briggs's accompaniment either. It's like this ostinato. It's the same throughout. Ostinato is like a repeated musical idea.
It just comes back
It
and
comes
repeats.
back.
Okay.
So what's really helpful is that I did all this hard work on the verses. I'm learning the verses without this, right?
Mm.
One morning fair for to take the air down by black water 'Twas in gazing all around me, 'twas the Irish lad I spied. And now I'm having to fit that in to this ostinato figure that repeats for every single verse. And so it gives me a lot of freedom to explore now that I've learned, once I learned the verses and I have that really solid and I know exactly where I'm going emotionally and with the actual line of the verse.
There was a point in one of the verses, it didn't, we say strophic, that it repeats.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like you stayed in the same place the whole time. You seemed like you had an emotional arc to it.
Yeah, like that wrong you wanted well, or something like that. Something around there.
Around the fourth verse.
Yeah.
Talking about weeping. And
yeah. To your father's garden, go home and weep your fill. So I'm really coloring those words, like something that I feel like that separates like a ballad singer to a really great ballad singer is that the emotions are there. And something that I learned so much as a classical singer is text painting, right?
Text painting was one of the first things we got in Survey of Music History. So
Right.
what is text painting?
And text painting is a practice that is very popular in art song. And art song are like just songs, like folk songs of the time. We've got Schubert as one of the most prolific composers of this art song. And so in his accompaniments, he had this text painting, so like an Erlkönig, right? Yeah. And so for me, it's like the opposite. I'm using my voice, and also as a singer of art song, you want to use your voice to portray the experience, the emotional experience, what's happening in the song. But it's the same thing in this sort of music. My fluid life accompaniment is something where I can kind of space out on and really focus on the delivery of the text. And so I think that, the more you sing the words and embody the experience, like this is a really, really depressing song. This is so sad.
Well, you find Irish ballads not the peppiest thing in the world?
And there's some that are like really fun, and some that are really fun and also like at the same time very sad. And so, but this is a song, you boil it down, like what is this song about? Once you reach this point. This song is about a woman and a man or a couple of people, and one of them decides that, actually we're done and I'm going to leave, and in the middle of the night, and I'm never, this girl in the song thinks that she's going to marry this person, and then, that she feels that it's never going to happen, she's never going to see this person again, and so then in the last verse, we have this really popular thing in ballads called impossibilities. Sure, it's fishes, they'll fly, and the seas will run dry. 'Tis you'll marry I. Like, yeah, sure. When the fishes start flying, I'm going to get married. It's a pretty humorous thing.
It's from when I was a kid, Shaw and Monkeys Will Fly Out of My Blood.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, I think, separating each verse into a different emotion is a very important one. So like we've got the introductory verse, one morning fair for to take the air, down by the black waterside. We're setting the scene.
Seems pretty
right.
Okay. It's the day. It's not so depressing. You've got some water.
Yeah, all through the first part of the night, the lights start to play. We'll skip over that. This young man he rose and gathered his clothes, said farewell, goodbye, I'm leaving.
He was like swimming.
He's like
probably
swimming.
Grabbing his clothes.
Yeah, it's like all a metaphor. You can intuit maybe what it all means.
Oh, swimming. Yeah, there are other things without clothes.
Yeah. And then that's not the promise you made to me, right? When you first laid on my bed, that's what she's saying. You could make me believe with your lying tongue that the sun rose in the west, which no.
So
Yeah.
she's giving him
Yeah,
hell.
she's like, I thought I could believe everything you said, even if the sun rose in the west, right? And then go home to your father's garden. Go home and weep your fill, and think of your own misfortune that brought you your wanton will. She's like, think about what the harm you've done. And then the concluding verse is, never gonna see this guy again. And it's devastating, but it's also humorous too when you boil it down.
She's telling him, all right, go home, asshole, go home. Think about what you've done, and we're never marrying.
Yeah.
Like basically, I don't care if you come groveling, fish are flying, whatever.
Yeah.
Only then are we married.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. So it's really once you boil it down and know the emotional feeling behind every verse and the arc of the story, I think this is where like the ostinato, as we said, the repeating guitar figure that I'm playing is really lends itself well to go there emotionally.
Is the ostinato traditionally a requirement for this song, or could it have been slightly different?
Yeah, it could definitely be different, and I think there's a lot of different versions of the song. So there's another version that I didn't include that this band, it's a modern band, Bonnie Light Horseman, with Anais Mitchell, who composed Hadestown.
Huh.
She
Go
has
see Broadway show.
Go see a show. It's amazing. And that sounds completely different. Which, if we wanted to pull that up, we could. But that's a more modern, has more changes, more accompanied. But for these things, a lot of folk music and a lot of folk songs are done with like drones and a few chords. So you could technically sing this over like one morning fair for the day be I. It could be over just a drone.
Right.
Right? Or it could be nothing at all.
And that would maybe highlight the simplicity of the voice quite a bit more. And
sort of lend itself well to like a more inner experience of this.
Patty's version.
Yeah.
Solo voice.
Yeah.
Can I ask a favor?
Sure.
I can ask, you can refuse.
Yeah.
There, I don't know if they're still in business. There was this place called, or this new music group in New York called Da Capo.
Yes.
And so they did so many premieres. They would play the premiere and then blah, 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 and then come back at the end of the play it again.
Oh,
so the
wow.
audience that heard this crazy new thing, and it was definitely during the thorniest of new music eras in New York, at the end of the show would be like, okay, like, I've heard this, let me get a second hearing.
Yeah.
Could we get a second hearing? Because
Yeah.
knowing all of this,
Yeah.
like, I really want to hear it, and I want to hear it with, like, the changes in my brain. All right, let me switch.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to lean back, get my squeaking done.
And
beautiful melody.
It's really communicative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
I got a text after last week's stream
Mm-hmm.
that again from the mom. This is a way that she can make sure I'm alive.
Chris's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming she's watching. And she said, because we talked a lot about early music and it being the point being to communicate.
Yeah.
And Guy was talking about why and how.
Yeah.
And you've been talking about exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Just totally different music.
Yeah.
It has words. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's easier, but actually you have to think a lot more about how you're reflecting that communication and what
Right.
should be communicated. And I think it's a total win. Like, this is beautiful. This is
Yeah.
great. This whole purpose of this is so I get people to play and sing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm just really grateful for the experience to share, and you know, I'm really wanting to teach more ballad singing. I think it's something people are afraid of. It's like an endurance activity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it goes by so quickly here, but I'm
Yeah.
not playing there.
Yeah, and it's like I feel that it is an endurance thing. It's like a focus thing. Everything's the same. You have to figure out how to make it different. Much like, you know, Handel arias. You have the you know, the second A section. You know, that you go back to.
Right.
I almost said like recapitulation, but I was like, that's a big word.
So if people want to study with you, because you do teach this,
Yeah.
where can they study with you?
Yeah, you can study with me at NEC. I always take in new students and would love to run a ballad singing course class as a group, so
Yep.
people can get used to singing in front of others. And then we can go out into the city. It's an amazing city for ballad singing, for group singing. And so if you want to get more comfortable with harmony singing, ballad singing, singing by ear, learning by ear, and certainly we can also learn to read music and
Mhm.
transcribe these in musical notation
Through NEC.
through NEC.
I'm going
I'm
to say
here.
email ee@necmusic.edu, and if you want to study with Erin, we're happy to try to make that happen. Do some of our teachers teach online as well as in person? Are
Mhm.
you also online?
Yeah,
if
I
people
can
want
be
to?
an online person.
Great, we can
yeah,
make that happen.
Yeah, so any way you want to learn, I'm happy to facilitate.
Where I don't know if this will make the edited versions later, but people have seen your website and your Instagram in the chat over and over and over again, like every
Mhm.
10 minutes. Where can they see you perform, like live, if they're in the Boston area or outside the Boston?
Yeah, I have 2 performances next week with just myself, solo, with some other artists from New York City that are coming in. And one of them is a music director for the touring version of Hadestown.
Oh, great.
And so we'll be doing shows at the Luthier Collective in Somerville.
Somerville,
and then
Massachusetts.
Somerville,
Yeah.
Massachusetts, and I'll be doing a house show in Jamaica Plain, and so I can't disclose the address, but if people were interested, they can contact me on Instagram on the message section of the thing. But I always have new shows coming up. I have a band called Forsyth. I'm leading a harmony singing workshop this Sunday.
Sunday at New England Conservatory.
At New England Conservatory, alongside Eden McAdam Summer, Farai Malik, Stephen Hankasnetsky, and so it'll be really fun. And yeah, I'm always around, always doing shows, always collaborating with different folks. So,
Great.
and every Sunday at Trinity Church, I'll be there. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank
This
you
is
so much, Chris.
really a
This is amazing
treat.
stuff.
We're going to send people away just by
Good
hitting the
night.
end screen. Good night, everybody. Bye.